A lot of students struggle with LSAT reading comp and they say you can't learn it. The good news is they're wrong. Today I'm going to share with you how to ace LSAT reading comp. The secret is often doing less. It comes down to knowing what not to do rather than what to do. For those who don't know me, my name is Steve Schwartz. I've been teaching the LSAT since 2005, and I personally increased my own LSAT score from a 152 to a 175. Now, one of my biggest breakthroughs came when I realized I did better on reading comp when I did less work up front, when I took fewer notes, because it turns out it takes time to write things down, it takes time to read things, and what you write down ends up oftentimes not even being that useful. This is especially true now that the LSAT is online. LSAT has these highlighting and underlining tools, but they're glitchy and unreliable, so I would not recommend using them. Now, sometimes people will recommend reading Scientific American or The Economist to get better at reading difficult, dense text. But the thing is, you have 400 real, actual, official LSAT reading comp passages. So unless you're taking the LSAT over a year from now, I don't know why you would spend any time on outside material. Use some of the oldest LSAT passages just for casual beach reading or bathroom reading, and save the newer ones for your timed sections and your full-length practice tests. But I would always recommend making sure that you can exhaust all the actual official LSAT materials before going outside of the LSAT. Now, it's easy to get bogged down in the 450 words of text and the 7 questions associated with the passage, so I'd recommend starting with the fundamentals first. What is the main idea? What is the primary purpose of the passage? Global, big picture concepts to start with, because if you don't know the main idea, you don't really know anything, right? So focus on the big picture, save the details for later. You get to choose the order in which you approach the questions associated with the passage. You don't have to do them in the order presented by default. So I recommend tackling the general, global, main idea questions first, then saving the detail-oriented questions for the next, and finally doing the more inferential questions that require a bit more reading between the lines for last. Now, you may have a difficult time taking the LSAT on a computer screen. Maybe you're more of a physical book person on paper, like I am. You can, by the way, get accommodations to take the LSAT on paper, but that aside, if you do want to get faster at reading difficult, dense text on a screen, I'm going to share with you 2 apps that I personally love to use. One of them is Spreeder.com. The other is phrasereader.com. And what these apps let you do is to copy paste any text that you'd like into the app and then display it to yourself at different speeds. And so you can put yourself on an LSAT reading comp treadmill of sorts to build up your LSAT reading comp speed while maintaining your comprehension. Now, I'll share some more techniques you can use for reading comp in just a moment. But first, I wanted to let you know that if you like strategies like these for LSAT reading comp or anything else LSAT related, at LSAT Unplugged, we share more material like this in our courses and our one-on-one coaching programs. If you're interested in finding out more, you can check out the links below to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out. Now, I'm going to end off this video by sharing a couple of reading comp strategies you can apply to level up your understanding. One of my favorites is to take a reading comp passage and rewrite the entire thing in simpler language, like you were going to explain to a 5-year-old, to practice simplifying complex language and arguments and making sure you actually understand what the passage text is saying. Because, of course, if you don't know what it says, you're not going to be able to solve the questions. You want to also make sure that you're able to identify the patterns, not just in question stem types, but also in the arguments presented in passages and how LSAT goes about laying out those arguments. You might also try reading passages and solving just the big picture questions as an exercise, just to, once again, make sure that you are clear on that. You could save some of the older passages for just this purpose. LSAT has added an additional practice section into Law Hub containing the oldest LSAT reading comp passages, so you can use them for individual drill sets without spoiling newer practice tests that you'd want to save for timed sections or full-length practice as test day approaches. Again, if you'd like my help, check out the links below. My team and I would be glad to support you. And in the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care.